If you're at all exhibiting drainerisms, if you're spending any amount of your time, energy, and effort talking about what's wrong, then I assure you, you will only find more of what's wrong. If you're spending your time, energies, and efforts talking about what's right, then you will have the ability to find more things that are right. There are so many examples of people who have gone out and conquered and crushed, achieving and attaining such huge results that you should believe that you can do that. But sometimes it's a little belief. Sometimes you just want to believe that maybe you can make a little more money, or you can educate yourself in something that you don't know how to do, or you can maybe move and go somewhere and try out a new area of the country or internationally. And then the people around you are telling you that's stupid. All your friends are here. You've never done that before. What if you get lost and no one ever finds you again? What if the airplane you're on crashes and you don't actually make it across the pond? I mean, the drainers just suck every idea out of anything you're trying to do, because they've actually settled in their life, and they don't want to admit it, but drainers are drainers because they choose to be just, look at every situation in a way that's negative, and they've so impacted their thinking, they just permeate negativity and victimization, because I've yet ever met a drainer that's not been victimized by somebody. And this is how crazy it is. I sat across the table from some people in the last couple of weeks who have actually accomplished some pretty remarkable things and are in the beginning stages. They don't see it yet, but they are in the beginning stages of actually being introduced to things that are the things they talk about were their dreams or are their dreams. But the words they're choosing to use right now are drainerisms. They're talking like their old self. Why is that? Why, when they're at that point where they've worked so hard and they're actually getting recognition for the things that they're doing, they're actually ascending in their career and in their financial path, they're sitting there being drainers? I'm compelled to have this conversation with you on this podcast at the risk that it may upset some people, the things I'm saying. But I'm telling you, as I'm sitting here, for a specific reason, which I said on this podcast, we're going to be real. And for some of you, I want you right now, if you're listening to this podcast, to check your words. Check what you're saying. Be intentional to listen to yourself. Write it down when you say anything and you check yourself. Write down what you said and ask yourself, why am I speaking this way? You need to write down your goals. You need to write down your dreams. You need to write down your accomplishments, but you equally need to write down every reflection that you realize you're being a drainer, because there is some conditioning, there is some element, there's some influence that's causing you to have broken thinking or broken beliefs that makes you feel compelled to say things or do things that drainers say and do. When you're sitting with people and you're killing it and you start talking about all the things you did in the past that caused failure, if you're talking about it as an example to influence the person you're talking to help them make a better decision going forward, and you're relating it to something that's significant so you can be an example, that is one thing. But if you are literally just sitting there spewing information that's completely irrelevant, not productive, and potentially viewed as negative information to the people you're talking to, you're being a drainer. You need to stop. And it's hard to stop. I get that. And if there are things going on in your life, maybe one aspect of your life is doing great. Maybe the other aspect is causing stress. But that stress is carrying over to the thing that's actually starting to give you confidence. And if you allow that conversation in your head to come out of your mouth and permeate the people you are with, you're actually lowering their confidence in you. Now, I know this firsthand because it's happened at least 3 times in the last 2.5 weeks. I've been sitting with people that I have a personal perspective of, that I have high enthusiasm for the kinds of things that they can do to succeed. And in those moments where they could be building my confidence in them, they choose to talk and act like a drainer. Now think about it. If you're an employee and you work in an organization and you're making more money than you've ever made before, and they're giving you more and more opportunity than they ever gave you before, and you're feeling excited and enthused about what you're doing, but then you spend all your energy talking about it's not enough, and it doesn't move fast enough, and I don't like the things I have to do, and I don't like the people I have to do it with, and you talk like that, then the person you're talking to has a conflict. Are you on the path to success, or are you on your path to failure? Like, how do I know, and how do I have confidence, and how I can trust you if you're speaking 2 different ways, and your performance might be one way, but your words, your actions, the way you talk are another way? It creates confusion. And why is that interplaying in your mind? Like, you have to ask yourself, why would I ever take that moment of opportunity where I could be with somebody who could change my life forever and start talking about things that drainers talk about? It makes no sense, but people do it all the time. I'm going to keep saying this over and over because I want you to listen to this. You have to condition your mindset to where you want to go. You have to condition your mindset to the steps you're taking to get there. You have to condition your mindset, and that at every technical movement along that path, you're aware and conscious of everyone you're talking about, how they're perceiving you, what you're doing, and what you're intending on have happening. And if something doesn't fit into that, then you're technically drifting. And what happens when you start drifting, which is just kind of wandering all over the place because you don't have a specific point of focus, you allow elements then to come in and come through you because you start thinking about it, so you start talking about it. Well, anybody that's followed me for any amount of time knows I say all the time, and I learned this from my mentor, Hector Lamarck, what you think is what you say is what you do becomes your legacy. So here's a simple question to each and every one of you. What do you want your legacy to be? Because then that will go all the way back to what you're thinking about and what you're communicating about. And if you have people that are trying to pull you off of that, you have to move beyond that sphere of influence and move into a sphere of influence that's propelling you to your belief. Those are hard choices. And sometimes those choices come with consequences. So what I'm trying to say in this podcast is this. If you're at all exhibiting drainerisms, if you're spending any amount of your time, energy, and effort talking about what's wrong, then I assure you, you will only find more of what's wrong. If you're spending your time, energies, and efforts talking about what's right, then you will have the ability to find more things that are right. If you spend your time identifying things that are pulling you off track with the purpose of communicating elements to learn or development areas in order to break through those things so you can propel yourself to the next level of success, that's intentional thinking. That's not drainerism. And the way that would sound is nothing ever works. People can't work right for me. I can never find anybody good. I tried that and it doesn't work too. I've tried it. I didn't do it right. I'm going to look for a solution to do it better. I need a mentor that can help me do it better.